What is going on, folks? My name is Ethan J. We are back with Perseverance. I've got a good one with y'all today. All right. I know a lot of people are not going to like this. My American brothers and sisters, this right here is something that we got to talk about. Now, I know that this individual only represents probably a small majority of Americans, but the radicalism and the stupidity in this guy's outward expression of MAGA is it's so hard to fathom that somebody could walk outside of their house with a shirt like that on, that I had to make a video on it. So I think in the 21st century, I think we have the ability to assess our leaders, right? Critical thinking has stereotypically, statistically gone down over the years due to just brain rot content and the way that the modern world has functioned. However, we still should have enough clarity to understand why this is a problem. If we as a people can't hold our leaders accountable for the actions that they do, then I believe that we as a people have failed, right? This is a guy who's probably a first or second generation, maybe a third generation American who's fighting for a belief that he probably doesn't really understand, and who's supporting leaders he doesn't really know or align to. For those of you that know, the United States of America is not what you claim it to be. There's a lot of ties and a lot of affiliations with different nations, and there's a reason why currently, as of May 18, 2026, they're in a war that they shouldn't even be in. Unfortunately, the young men and young women around, in America are being drafted for a war that they don't personally feel conflicted to fight. And the audacity to wear a shirt that, promotes, supporting someone regardless of their predatory behaviors is something that's so vile that if we don't correct this now, this will go downhill very, very quickly. Guys, we are seeing a time where predatory behavior is at an all-time high, right? And as a former basketball coach who used to coach U10, U14 kids part-time, I've trained kids one-on-one. I regularly have kids that want to train with me for basketball, personal training. My co-op was in a school. My heart goes out to children, because at the end of the day, these kids are our future. These are the future of our generation. And it's a sick, disgusting world that even entertains the idea that pedophilia is okay. And we need to open this up, right? This guy, I can't even say this guy's name because I will get copyrighted, I will get banned and, shadow banned and all that. He has literally been admitted in these files with having correlative relations with children. And now you see, why this is such a big problem is because that is a complete contradiction to you being a leader of a nation. Right? The minute that someone gets pulled up on these files, I truly believe that their identity, their reputation, and everything that they've worked for in the public should be garnished, right? Because everything you've built your status on is used in a power of abuse, right? Just to abuse and destroy the life of someone else who's less fortunate. We're not talking about the lives that have been ruined because of these sick, perverted weirdos who are in these files right here, right? We're not talking about these guys who are claiming to be men of God, right? Men of God, using the word God. And then, and in the contrast are killing people in this war. So I think as a generation, we need to start asking ourselves the deeper question. Why are we following and supporting leaders that are actively destroying and are putting their own desires over the people? I'm just curious. And how far is this going to go? Right? How far is this going to go before we as a nation, we as a people say, yo, man, this is sick. This is disgusting. This guy that I support, this guy that wants me to, give him money, right? Who has a phone, who has endless amounts of business propositions, has his own Bible, is also creating wars, right? Also correlated with child trafficking. Now, Americans are going to brush this off because, majority of people just don't think that they have the power to do anything, right? Me personally, I'm not even American. The problem with this, right, is with pushing this stuff off is that you allow it. It should anger you, Americans, that DC has, Washington has one of the highest child abduction rates out of all states, right? This should surprise you, right? It should anger you that this guy who you aimlessly support has been in positions of power before some people were even born, before I was even born. You should question your leaders, where their money comes from, what they did behind closed doors, why this guy ended up lining up with his daughter with the Jewish guy, Jared Kushner, this dude. You should ask these questions, not to put people in a box and to be anti-Semitic. It's because you have the right to ask questions. We as a people, the beauty of today is that we get to critically think and assess, what's going on. So every time that I see this, the first thing I think is you are a brain dead, sensational individual. And that's the generation we live in. We live in a generation where everything has to be sensationalized. You have to hyper sensationalize it to make it pop on social media, right? But even if it was a joke, for you to wear a shirt that says, I don't care if Trump is a pedophile, I don't know how anybody could be proud of this man, or this action right here, and moreover, I'm even bringing this up because I've noticed that there's been an intention to deter these conversations, UFO files, all these random things coming in to distract ourselves from the fact that these literal leaders of nations are evil to the bone, and nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to air it out. I'm willing to. This content is not going to help me with my personal training brand. It's not going to help me with my business. It's probably not going to help me get monetized. But the reason why I'm talking about it is because I believe that if you're in a position of power, if you're in a position of authority, then you have some type of moral obligation to showcase the masses. That's the whole point of you being in your position. It's that you do things a little differently and you hold yourself to a higher standard. And that's a standard that people that look up to you should follow. And we're living in a generation where that's not happening anymore. So when you see stuff like this, I think it's time that we start calling it out, laughing at it, and reminding ourselves that this can't go on. This can't go on. It's time to end this debauchery. Now, this is not even debauchery. This is just sick. Like, this is just evil. Evil. And we gotta make a change. So if this caught your eye, I want you to let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. And we're gonna be really pumping up some videos today, so stay tuned, more to come. I've been hearing, guys, and doing a little bit of research too, so I found out that shirt is actually altered, so my apologies on, putting up an altered shirt. The shirt I thought was so audacious that I had to make a video on it, but regardless, guys, there is a huge trafficking issue that I think needs to be addressed, and the moral conviction of our leaders, and I think that's the emphasis of this video. So, yeah, make your own decisions, be critical, and just for YouTube purposes, this video is entertainment only. So choose that wisely, quote unquote. We all love Ben Shapiro, right? Stay tuned, guys. More content coming up.